There was a time when you were heartless, brutal, a monster. And I'm proud of you for changing all that, but I'm here to ask you to be those things once more. For them. For me. Can I count on you? Bigby, can I count on you?
Always.
With recent news of The Wolf Among Us 2 bringing back all, or if not all, but most of the developers and creative writers of the first season. In this online source, in this document, you can see it on the screen now. It says, return to work on The Wolf Among Us 2 via ad hoc are directors Nick Herman and Dennis Leonard, along with Pierre Charette. Also returning are the award-winning voice actors Adam Harrington as Bigby Wolf, amazing voice actor by the way, and Yerin Yvette as Snow White, also amazing, and composer Jared Emerson Johnson. Additionally, Telltale Games' former vice president of engineering, Zach Litton, has joined the new Telltale team as chief technology officer. It has seemed that the new Telltale owners have been able to get their pretty much, voice actors, creative writers, and composers back for the second season. We don't know at what cost it is, at how they got them back, but we do know as of right now that they got them back. This next source says, life in a big bad city is bloody, terrifying, and dangerous. Bigby and Snow returning to untangle more mysteries in the much anticipated sequel to one of the Telltale's most beloved games, The Wolf Among Us. Award-winning voice actors Adam Harrington and Viet, we read that right on the other one. The lead writer, creative directors, and composer of the original game are back for another trip into the dark universe of Vertigo's Fables graphic novels and The Wolf Among Us 2. This is really good news because this shows that they've put in the work and they put in the good pitch, most likely, to get these original workers back for this game. And the reason why this game has a very high potential look at being Game of the Year in 2021, which is I'm pretty sure that's when it will be released. I think they're going to be taking 2020, off to perfect this game. But the reason why, I genuinely believe that Wolf Among Us 2 has a high chance of winning Game of the Year is because if Batman Arkham, the newest Batman Arkham, does not come out in 2021, and if GTA does not come out in 2021, and if a good Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty or even any of these games, if these games did not have the story and the character development that The Wolf Among Us 2 is going to bring, then there would be no way they would compete with Wolf Among Us 2. Because every single game as of right now, as of 2019 actually, because there aren't any games right now at all for a while. There's not going to be any for a while. But let's say 2019, the lineup of games that 2019 has had was pretty horrible. And, you don't really need evidence to prove that. But, this story-based actually, I'm not going to say all games because most games have multiplayer, right? So you can't really bash multiplayer games. But story games, right, in 2019 were horrible. They were all the games that had any story. They were not, good at all. Everything was in 2018, with Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption and the start of Life is Strange 2. Before 2019, the games that had, emphasized on mainly story mode were extremely lazy in 2019. 2018 probably had, some of the best class of highly developed story games in a while, actually. But 2019 is pretty much disgraceful in terms of games that we really like that have amazing story. And pretty much 2019 we've had maybe one, which would be when they finished The Walking Dead season 4 and then finished off Life is Strange season 2. I'm pretty sure pretty much from going like 2018 to 2019, those are really the only two games that we've had that emphasized on story and they were actually decent. Everything else seemed to be out of the loop and more multiplayer based, and I think it's gonna keep from now till 2021 and onward. I think the way the world is now, with real story mode in games declining and going towards movies, that story games are not going to be a big staple in a while in a long time. I mean, after a while, it may recuperate and get back to being at the top. But as of right now, it seems like every single developer has their mind on either Nintendo Switch or making their game an RPG called Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah, games like that, right? There's a lot of games that are, making their game, they're ruining their games for money because they know that what wins the the cash cow and what brings in the bag, they're following those ideas. A lot of games are not, they're not staying true to their roots. A lot of games aren't. They know that multiplayer and RPG and microtransactions bring in the money. GTA, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, stuff like that. Games that have a bunch of stuff that you can buy and a bunch of randomness inside the game. People are gonna spend hundreds of hours into it and hundreds of dollars into it, and people are still falling for it. I mean, you can't really blame them. I mean, when there's nothing else to play and you love playing these things, what can you really do, right? But if there are no games that can compete with the story that Wolf Among Us Season 1 brought, it is almost 100%, no doubt in my mind, that Season 2 will 100% win Game of the Year if it has no, if there's no other games that have that mindset and have those creative writers that have a passion for story and have a passion for character development. If that doesn't exist in 2020 or 2021, there would be no game that can compete with The Wolf Among Us 2. And just to add to it, there hasn't ever been a certain particular game that has had that anticipation for years now. Since so long, it's been so long since the first season, and since then there hasn't been any, right? We were promised one in 2018 or 2019 or whatever, and there were no sight of that game. So just that alone, with anticipation building, and if these developers decide to not go into the story, they just go into multiplayer and RPG and microtransactions, which is what nobody likes anymore. If games continue to go through that route, there would be no competition for story mode games. And I mean, with this new engine that they're going to be using and just new everything and new choice making, there's just so many things go into why this game would do so well. And I want to get to them, but I definitely would save some more for this year because there won't be anything, I'm pretty sure, for a very long time, at least for this whole year. I'm pretty sure that the game will be released in 2021 or 2022, depending on how long they need, right? But just given the time that they've given us, that they're not rushing, because most people, they would rush games out every year, such as Call of Duty and games like that, right? But they're taking their time to develop and create this new story, new fresh story, which is what a lot of developers aren't doing. They're not thinking outside the box, and Telltale is going to take advantage of that, like they've been doing since the first season. They've been taking advantage of these people who are, developers and writers that are lazy-minded and are not working for it. They rather just, like I said, they rather just force their games into being cash cows, right? Breaking down franchises for just a few bucks, which is, not going to work long term, as we know. But, definitely hopes for some more. But because we're only in January and the game won't be coming out until at least 2021, I'm definitely going to save a lot more, energy into this and save a lot more ideas that I have for future projects, right? Future videos. But until then, I mean, I hope you guys, I hope you guys disagreed or agreed, because if you do agree or disagree, just be a fellow, human being, act civilized, and go down to that comment section and, voice your opinions. Please don't, be one of those guys on Reddit who go in the comments and, try and be toxic or, curse their mind away and just have veins busting out of their heads. Just come in, be like, hey, I mean, I don't think that was right. I mean, it's just whatever you feel, that if you feel like you agree with this, definitely hit that like, hit the comment. But if you disagreed, I mean, I won't hope you hit the, the like button, but you probably wouldn't. But if you do disagree and believe that there would be another game in 2021 that would win over The Wolf Among Us, and there is no way, because games now are the writers are non-existent. Most of these developers, they're not. They just develop the game and they drop it. I don't think writers matter anymore. That's the thing. When writers do not matter, there's no way the game has any story. It'll just be one of those games that you play mindlessly without a point. Like those games where you run around in the map and you're not doing anything. But geez, I gotta stop. I can I can make this go on and on, but yeah, just make sure you guys we just hit 80 subs, let's get to 100. Just hit that sub, hit that like, and if you want your friend to see this, I mean, of course you can share it, but just most importantly, hit that like and sub, and just comment your opinions down below. Peace out.